Okay guys, today we're going to talk about multiplying decimals. So before we do that, let's go over some of the vocabulary that means to multiply. We have words such as times. So if something 4 times 6, that's multiplying. We also have the word product. That's the answer of a multiplication problem. So if it says, what's the product of 4 and 6? That means to multiply. You have just regular old, hey, multiply it. And then double, does anybody know what double means? You're multiplying by? It means you're multiplying by 2 because you're doubling it. Also the word of, that's a big one in word problems, the word of. And lastly, the word area. If you are finding area, you should know this from previous years, you're going to be multiplying. This isn't all of the words, but these are just most of our vocabulary words. The next thing I want to talk about are the numbers that are being multiplied together. Those are called factors. So the 1.23 and the 4.5, those are our factors because they are the numbers being multiplied together. Okay, so let's actually look at a problem. This first one, I have 1.23 times 4.5. So the thing that we need to look at, our rule, is we are going to stack the numbers. So we're going to stack them with the longest number on top. Running out of room. We're going to stack them with the longest number on top. So out of these two numbers, the 1.23 and the 4.5, which one is longer? Good, the 1.23. So the 1.23 goes on top, and then the 4.5 goes back here. We do not care about the decimals at this point. We are going to multiply like normal. So ignore the decimals as of this point. Okay, so let's go and multiply. 5 times 3 is 15. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 1 is 11. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 1 is 6. Mark them out, drop your 0, don't forget your 0. 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9. And 4 times 1 is 4. Now I'm going to add. I get 5, 3, 15, and 5. Okay, now this is where the decimals come into play. We are going to count the numbers behind the decimal. So count places behind the decimal. So on 1.23, the 2 is behind the decimal and the 3 is behind the decimal. And on 4.5, the 5 is behind the decimal. So there's 3 numbers behind the decimal. You can also do it up here. If it was written, you could say, okay, there's 1, 2, 3 numbers behind the decimal. So we now need to go into our problem. We start at the back and put a decimal back there. Now, there was 3 numbers, so we make 3 hops. 1, 2, 3. Decimal is now there, and my answer is 5.535. And it is simple as that, multiplying with decimals. All right, let's look at our next one, so maybe we can get a little bit more practice. So again, we have to put the longer one on top. Out of these two, this number is longest, so we are going to put 0.004 and 20. Now, some people might say, Miss Cups, you don't need that. No, you don't. If it's in front of the 0, you can get rid of it if it's a 0. So now I'm going to multiply like normal. That's going to be 0, 0, 0. That 0's gone. Drop your 0. Don't forget, there's lots of zeros. 2 times 4 is 8. And then 2 times 0, 2 times 0, and then add. I get 0, 8, 0, 0. All right. Now I have to circle all my numbers behind the decimal. 20 doesn't have a decimal, so there's nothing to circle there. But this one has 1, 2, 3 numbers behind the decimal. You can also circle them here if you would like. So we start at the back, and we make how many hops? 3. 1, 2, 3. So my answer is 0.080. Again, longest on top, count your decimals. All right, last problem. We are going to look at a strategy and do some process of elimination because we know we have to look at the number behind the decimal. Multiplying decimals, our answer has to have the same amount of decimals. So we have one number behind the decimal here and 2 here. So there's 3 decimals in all. So we're going to write that here. 3 decimals. So there's 3 decimals there. So let's look at our answer choices and see if we can get rid of any. 126. Does it have 3 decimal places? No. It has no decimals. B, how many numbers does it have behind the decimal? Just 1. So it just has 1 decimal. That can be our answer. We're looking for 3. All right, C has 2 numbers behind the decimal. It's not going to work for us. So that only had 2 decimals. And then D is 1, 2, 3. There we go. 3 decimal places. We didn't have to do any math. We only knew that we had 3 decimals behind the 0 or behind the decimal. So we knew our answer had to have 3 numbers behind the decimal place. Make sure you put your longest number on top, you count your numbers behind the decimal, and you start from the back with your hops.